Hey guys, Tim here. This week we're going to talk about the AMD R9 290, the NVIDIA 780 Ti, price drops, new CPUs, APUs coming, and much more. So stay tuned. Hey guys, we're back with episode 2 of the T3 show, answering your questions and covering some of the current news. Our first item this week is we're going to talk a little bit about the NVIDIA 780 Ti benchmarks along with the R9 290 benchmarks. Curious what you guys think. Kind of what I expected, which is they're kind of playing cat and mouse right now. You know, NVIDIA releases a card, it's better than everything else. AMD releases a card that's cheaper, and they kind of play this game back and forth. I don't think any of us are surprised that the 780 Ti is a great card. I am surprised about how much better at gaming it is than the Titan. Now granted, the big difference between the Titan and the 780 Ti is the 780 Ti has actually more CUDA cores, but they're not double precision cores, and they're not, it's 3 gigs instead of 6 gigs for memory. So not massive changes unless you're doing things that the Titan is designed for, which is, you know, scientific modeling, stuff like that, 3D manipulation, you know, things along those lines where you really need those CUDA cores and the double precision, where being accurate every time is important. So I'm curious what you guys think. Let's do a little bit of some interaction here. I know this isn't live, but let me know what you guys think of the 780 Ti, if any of you have it, what you think about it. I personally just picked up a Sapphire R9 290 because, one, I buy all this stuff with my money, and for me, price for performance is important. It's not the most important thing, but it's important to me that I'm spending my money wisely. So while the 780 Ti is a fantastic card, the super clocked editions from EVGA, especially with the dual cooler, are just coming back with crazy numbers. For me personally, you know, am I doing enough with that card that I need that card? Do I need the bragging rights? I don't. I know that, you know, I don't need a machine that I'm going to take around and be like, "Ooh, look at the card I have," or "Look at the 4-way SLI I have." Some people are like that. Some people, you know, that's just how they roll. So I want the best bang for my buck. And I'm going to liquid cool, which is the big point I want to make here, guys. The difference I see between the NVIDIA, we're mostly talking reference cooler here, the NVIDIA reference cooler and the AMD reference cooler, is that the NVIDIA reference cooler is much quieter because it tries to hit a temperature of 80 degrees inside of the software. So they're both blower style, but because of the design of the cooler and because of the thermal footprint it's trying to hit, it's a more efficient card, the NVIDIA cards, so they're quieter. Now, when you're talking about the AMD cards, especially the 290 benchmarks really well because the fan curve has been manipulated to a point where it'll run louder, it'll run the fan faster, and the chip, the GPU runs about 15 degrees hotter is the target for those. They're about 95 degree versus 80 degree. Now for me, I'm gonna liquid cool. So you know, the trade-off between the two for me is gonna be negligible because I'm not gonna pay the price of the noise from the blower style. I'm gonna take the blower off. So for me, the more price-effective card allows me to buy a 290 and all the water cooling components I need for it, and still have some money left over, and it's going to be faster than a 780, and it might be faster than, well, probably will definitely be faster than a stock 780 Ti, but might even be faster than, you know, anything but a water-cooled 780 Ti. So we'll see. The other reason I went with AMD right now is their support for OpenGL and OpenCL. You know, I use Adobe, I do rendering. I really want to get the benefit of OpenCL for some of the workloads I do. So that's why I went with the AMD card. Guys, I'm not an AMD fan or an NVIDIA fan. I'm sure, you know, by now somebody has made the comment, oh, you're just an AMD fanboy. Every other GPU I own is an NVIDIA card. So take it with a grain of salt. I just think this generation, the price for performance is with AMD. Last generation, the 670 and the 660 Ti were great value and great performance. That's what I still run in my main system is a 670. So, and the other thing too is 512 bit memory bus and 4 gigs of memory. You know, when you're doing rendering, that stuff matters, right? The more space you have, the better bandwidth you have, the faster it renders. So for me, it makes sense to buy a card like this. For someone else, you know, if you're doing NVIDIA Shield, or, you know, you want to do some of the NVIDIA streaming stuff or the proprietary NVIDIA technologies, you know, maybe you're really excited about G-Sync, you know, then you have to look at what level of NVIDIA card do you want, and is it worth the extra money for the features that you're going to use? Bringing around to that, benchmarks. So as I get in some cards, I'm slowly buying some. I was curious what you guys want for benchmarks. Everybody does gaming benchmarks. I see no reason to do gaming benchmarks unless I do something that hasn't been done. So if I water cool the 290, then I'll probably try to rerun some of the benchmarks that other people have done, just to give a comparison of the reference cooler versus water cool. Other than that, I'm curious what you guys think. So me personally, I don't game that much. I'm either doing these videos or, you know, editing, rendering, you know, compiling, stuff like that. So, you know, production, workflows. So kind of what I was thinking was doing benchmarks around work productivity. So like Adobe Premiere, Adobe Illustrator, Adobe After Effects, doing some, you know, MPEG conversion. Because like for me personally, if I want to post something up to Amazon, I have to take my 1080p file and convert it down to like 240 because Amazon only gives you 100 megs. So that rendering time is extensive. I mean, it's massive. Like some of the videos are 6 hours right now on my 670. So stuff like that, I was thinking, you know, I could make a generic video with like lots of motion and lots of still and like bright, lows and brights, right? Because when you're doing MPEG encoding, you want to kind of vary it. You don't want it to just be like a static image, because then it's easier for the system to render. You want something with, you know, motion, bright, dark, still, you know, and kind of a nice even pattern so that we can get some good numbers. So let me know what you guys think. I know a lot of you are starting to get into doing like, you know, some YouTube videos like this. You know, I'm just an amateur. I just do this for fun. I know there's guys out there that, you know, do Battlefield or Minecraft or stuff like that just want to know, you know, hey, I have $300 to spend on a video card. You know, it's going to game however it games, but what one should I buy to game and to do these other things? So, and to go back in time a minute, Shadowplay for NVIDIA, we'll see how it works. I have a capture card. I think the capture cards work better because they auto encode for you and you don't take away any gaming power. So, my personal opinion. But, so let me know what you guys think about benchmarks on video cards. And along with that, we're going to start trying to do some CPU and GPU benchmarks as well, along the same vein. So I really don't care about, oh my God, I get 4 frames per second more on an i7 than I do on an 8350. Guys, I just don't care about that stuff. What I care is if I buy an 8350, does my render time cut in half because I have 4 real more cores, right? Or is it only like 5% and I'm running at, 30 more TDP on the chip, which is, hotter and makes it harder to cool and, those kind of things. Sound is really hard to do. I know a lot of people are trying to figure out how to do like, sound testing for fans in your system. I mean, I'd like to be able to ramp up a system under load and do, some sound testing. I just don't have the facility here to do it. I have done environmental testing for consumer electronics before at a previous job. And, the anechoic chamber we used for the devices was $5 million to build the chamber. So don't have that kind of cash. Might try to figure something out at some point. The other problem is they take up a lot of space. So don't really have that kind of real estate right now. But let me know, the kind of stuff that you guys want to know that I can easily gauge for you. Let me know. I'm more than happy to put those results in the videos I do. So next we're going to move on to a question from Twitter, which is giveaways. How do I announce giveaways? So there's 2 ways I announce giveaways. One is I'll just say, hey, you guy, you won this, contact me on, direct message. Usually that's like a Steam game that I've given away or something where I don't need the person's real address. If it's something I'm shipping or it's a bigger prize, like something maybe other people might be jealous of, I tend not to announce it publicly like that. I'll send a direct message to the person. I'll ask them if they want to be recognized or not. 99% of the time they say no, in which case I just mark the video as closed and move on. So if a video doesn't have closed, either I forgot to put closed on it or it's probably still open. The big one right now is the Corsair gaming gear. I've actually given away 1 set already, and I'm about to give away a mouse, which will close out that. So the first person didn't want to be acknowledged, and if the next person does, then I'll post it up there for who won. But it's really up to the person. I really don't want people being called out, in a public forum. It's just not how I roll. Whereas the Steam games, guys, I'm giving away $5 Steam games for the most part. Usually I wait for a really good Steam sale and buy like 10 of something, right? So, it might be a $30 game on sale for $4.99. I buy a whole bunch of them so that I can give them away over time. And, it's a good value for me because I'm buying them cheaper, and it's good value for you because, hey, you're getting a free game. So stuff along that line, then I just announce it. If it's something that I do with another channel, typically we'll do like an announcement video. But the stuff I do for me, I don't, you guys don't need the channel polluted with a, hey, somebody won and it wasn't you. Nobody wants to watch that crap, so I don't want to make it. So, if I can find where my notes went. There we go. Video card and CPU price drop. So we talked a little bit about this already. Just kind of curious what you guys think, because AMD basically came out and smacked around NVIDIA on price. NVIDIA instantly went, oh yeah, we've been overcharging for those forever, suckers, and dropped the price. So I'm just curious what you guys think. I get that there's R&D costs for cards. At the same time, most of the new generation of the NVIDIA cards were rebranded old generation of NVIDIA cards, and they were charging more, which at least AMD, when they rebranded their last generation video cards, they're actually cheaper and have just as good of options, if not better, than some of the previous generations. So like True Audio on the 260X. Stuff like that. So I'm curious what you guys think. Let me know. Like I said, I'm mostly an NVIDIA owner. That said, I also don't like being, taken advantage of price-wise, and that's why you should all support AMD as well as NVIDIA, because even if you don't like AMD, they just saved you money. Enough said. Besides that, oh, CPU price drops. So AMD, the, excuse me there, the 9590 and the 9370, both just took price drops. The 9590 is now $300. So that's an 8-core chip that you can pretty easily, if you have a good cooler, get up to 5 gigahertz on each core. And it's only 300 bucks. Now, downside, it's a 200 watt TDP, which, you know, like my big lights aren't even 200, you know, like I think every studio light I have on right now, because they're fluorescent, might take 200 watts total. So you're paying for that speed. That said, you're not talking a ton on an electric bill, but you are talking that you're going to need to think seriously about cooling your system because it's going to run hot. So, you know, I wouldn't run that chip on anything less than, you know, a 240 rad. You know, pre-built loop is fine, you know, like Corsair H, you know, 110, 100i, whatever. But I definitely wouldn't run it on anything less than that. And I definitely would even maybe second guess trying to do an aggressive overclock on that kind of water loop. You know, I'd almost think you need a custom water loop with a couple of radiators to really push, you know, that part. So that said though, $300 for that CPU is a hell of a deal. Brings us on to Calvary. So FM2 Plus, the APUs from AMD, just got kind of announced the last couple of days. APU 13 has been going on. The big announcement is the new APUs are going to support Mantle just the same as the GPUs, and they're going to come with true audio. So I'm curious what you guys think about that, because we're definitely, you know, seeing AMD chips now that are, you know, okay, AMD makes the chips for the Xbox and the PS4, granted. But we are seeing chips now that will be very reasonably priced, with motherboards that are very reasonably priced for their feature sets, where you're going to be able to build a PC, maybe even cheaper than a console, and have much better graphics. So, you know, the next generation APUs are going to be better than anything shipping in a console today, by far. Especially with Mantle support, with the ability to code down to an API, which some of the consoles, Xbox, aren't going to allow. We'll see. I mean, I think this really plays into the whole, you know, Steambox, where people are going to really be able to start building, you know, $200 or $300 maybe PCs that are perfectly fine for gaming in 1080p, which is, you know, 99.9% of the TVs out there. Some games you're still going to want to play on a computer monitor, right? I'm no different than anybody else. I'm not, no matter how good the Steam controller is, I'm not playing Civilization or SimCity or Rome 2, any of that kind of stuff on a controller. Like, I'm just sorry, there's no way. It's so inefficient to not have, you know, keyboard shortcuts and a mouse. It just makes the game take way too long. However, first-person shooters, sure. You know, side scrollers, absolutely. Stuff like that, why not, right? You know, if you don't need to do a lot of typing or a lot of complex, you know, MMO controls, then absolutely. If I can build a $300 or $400 system that I can play video games on better than a console, and I can use it like a PC, right? I mean, realize, guys, you build a gaming PC. You can watch video on it, go up to YouTube. You can watch DVDs. You can do anything that either of those consoles can do. And you can do anything that any computer can do for the most part. So, you know, a good example is Hulu. Watch Hulu on an Xbox or a PS4 or a PS3 or a TiVo or whatever. It sucks. A bunch of, like, way more commercials, way more just nonsense. The UI is horrible. Yet, if you have a Media Center PC, now you can, you know, install Chrome or IE or Firefox, whatever you like, and go watch the web version of Hulu. Easy peasy lemon squeezy, right? That's the kind of stuff you can do. You can also put a TV tuner card in there, and now you have a DVR as well. So, just stuff to think about, guys. Innovation is good. I'm not saying that these chips are, these APUs aren't going to be for everybody. However, I think they're definitely going to be, if you have a 2-computer household and that second computer is, like your kid's computer or, just an internet browsing computer, a media center PC, a streaming PC, any of that kind of stuff, you should be really excited for these APUs because they're going to save you a ton of money and you're going to get some pretty darn good performance out of them. So moving on, I think I can get down off my soapbox there for a minute. Haha. So speaking of consoles, two console topics. The first one is Target accidentally shipped, I think it's up to 3 Xbox Ones out now. And the people weren't supposed to be able to get on Xbox Live, but apparently somebody forgot to disable that. And so a couple of people got connected to Xbox Live and started playing games on their Xbox One. To which Microsoft said, oh, hell no, and promptly blocked their accounts from Xbox Live. So I understand the need and the want to save publicity for the launch, right? It's important to generate publicity, especially for Xbox One, which has been really, really, really under fire. This just reeks to me of corporate bullying, right? How hard would it have been to go to the people that got those Xboxes and say, you know what, if you give it back to us, we'll give you every game that comes out, we'll give you, an extra Xbox One on ship date, just, give us back those, and, or even like, hey, we want to disable your account, would you agree to that? I think the whole, like, we're just going to stop it, and, it just reeks to me of, Sony's the same way. They don't really care about you guys. If you're a console gamer, all you are is a dollar sign to them. Now granted, if you're a PC gamer, all you are is a dollar sign to PC makers. However, there's a hell of a lot more of them. So if one of them pisses you off, you just go buy a different part from somebody else. Also, no proprietary games for the PC, right? There's proprietary games for the OSs, but not for the PC. So if you buy a game on Steam, you can put it on whatever PC you own. If you buy a game for the Xbox One, you're sure not playing that on Sony. And the thing that I hate about the consoles is these proprietary game franchises are just crap. I hate it. I understand why they do it, why they feel they need to differentiate, but it really hurts publishers who could be, releasing a PC game of the same game you just bought for your console, which looks better, runs better, and 99% of the time is cheaper. I mean, go look on release date for some of these games, look on Steam, look on the consoles, and look at the price difference. So NBA 2014 was a great example. $59.99 for both consoles, $29.99 for PC. So I wish Microsoft would have handled this better. Major Nelson today made an announcement about it. It just reeks to me of not caring about your community. They could have easily made this a publicity win if they would have just taken a second to think about what they were doing and what it looked like, instead of just being the bully and playing the trump card of, well, we're just not going to let you log onto your machine. So the other one is Call of Duty Ghost, which quote unquote broke the record for sales. Well, okay. So they broke the record of shipments to stores. I don't know how many stores you've been to lately, but they sure have an awful lot of copies of Call of Duty Ghost. So you're probably going to be able to, if you haven't bought it yet, you're probably going to be able to get a pretty good deal on it by Christmas. If you have bought it, you should be really pissed off because it's a horrible game. You know, I vowed when Black Ops 2 came out, I would never buy another one of these stupid Call of Duty games. You know, in my opinion, Call of Duty 2 was the last good game. I know a lot of you guys will say Modern Warfare was the last good one, but those games were quality in my opinion. They had, you know, realistic storylines. You know, the World War II games, it's pretty hard to go wrong. Modern Warfare was just interesting because it was, you know, kind of modern day, not futuristic, where they've tried to go now. I feel like they've tried to differentiate themselves in some way from Battlefield, which is now, in my opinion, the default first-person shooter I go play if I want to play, you know, current era, you know, fighting games. Battlefield 4, I've been having a heck of a time playing it. Love it. Leveling up weapons really, really sucks. Compared to the Battlefield 3, it was really easy. The new game, it's pretty darn hard. And I suck, so that doesn't help either. But Call of Duty Ghosts got suckered in like everybody else, apparently. Bought it, and I feel stupid. You know, Infinity Ward and Activision should be ashamed of themselves. The game is just a piece of crap. It has the same graphics as the last like 4 generations of their games. It was definitely made, you know, on a shoestring budget without any innovation, on the same engine, and they're just trying to milk it for money. So shame on me. They fooled me twice. Not again. So this is, for me, this is my last Call of Duty game unless they sell the franchise to a different publisher. And guys, realize I hate EA as well. I'm not a big fan of DICE, but at least the game, you know, has a new engine. It looks better. They've been working on it. It does look just like Battlefield 3 in the, you know, in the final say, but that's what it looks like. That's the look of those games. So for me, Battlefield 4 met expectations, right? Call of Duty, Black Ops 2, Ghosts, all were just, let's try to capitalize off this franchise and not really do anything. You know, when you compare the two side by side, the graphics quality is kind of ridiculously bad for Call of Duty, which, you know, I hate to see because, like I said, I spent a lot of time on Call of Duty 2, and Call of Duty 3. I beat all 3 on Elite, Veteran, whatever the top, you know, for each one was. And Call of Duty 2, I think it took me, you know, 3-4 weeks of consistently playing when I got home from work to be able to, like, okay, there's a German machine gun nest, you know, over here, and they have me pinned down. Like, how in God's name do I get to the next checkpoint? Right? I mean, it was just like every night was like, I just need to get 1 more checkpoint or 2 more checkpoints on this level, and then I can go to bed. You know, and it'd be, you know, die. Okay, I have to, you know, go over here and, you know, take out these 2 guys and then get back in the trench and, you know, skirt around and wait for my guys to advance, you know, the NPCs to advance, and, you know, and then I can pop out and get one of the 2 machine gunners and, you know, get back in the trench, and, you know, go back the other way. And that to me is, you know, interesting, right? Where it's more realistic, especially historical things. So, but shame on you, Activision. In Infinity Ward, you should give everybody their money back because all you did was basically rob us all. So, Gripe Fest over. Don't buy it. If you haven't bought it, don't buy it, by the way. So, we're going to wrap up with a brief spiel of, you know, if you guys want your questions answered during the T3 show, just tweet at TimmyTechTV, put #T3 show in there. I'll get to as many questions as I can answer It's a really busy time this time of year. I've been out sick if you guys have noticed the lack of videos lately. Finally feeling better. Obviously, I'm back to rambling on because this video is ridiculously longer than I wanted it to be. But tweet me. I'll get to the, the questions. If I don't answer you back, on Twitter, which I almost always do, I'll answer you back in this video. Keep watching, guys. Keep letting me know what you think. I hope you like the content. We're going to be doing an unboxing. The next unboxing is going to be this bad boy. So keep an eye out for that. This is Tim. For Timmy Tech TV and the T3 Show, we'll see you guys next time.